This is the aftermarket report with Jim in Vegas. Today's date is October the 25th, 2018, and I'm going to turn it right over to Vegas, and she's going to introduce what we're going to talk about today.
Hi everyone, hope everyone had a good trading day. I am going to just list the stocks we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about TTNP, MOSY, MOSY, EARS, PURA, OTC stock, MRIC, OTC stock, and last but not least, the Amazon and the drama behind those FANG stocks. So first, I'm going to just briefly touch on TTNP, just really talk about the open and what was being looked at on Titan Pharmaceuticals. The market opened the stock at 53.5 and a low was at 38. And I'm going to let Jim talk about how he traded that, I think 8 times today.
Yep, sure did.
Okay, so Jim's going to talk about his scalping and how he grew that account too.
Yep. Well, here's Titan, and I want to let everybody know I've started a $1,000 challenge a couple of months ago, and I started with the 1,000. Had a little difficulty at first, but I adjusted my trading plan, and today I brought it up to over $3,000 within about 2.5 months. And I also withdrawed a little bit of money out of it to pay for a month's rent. So actually, I'm about up $3,700 on that thing. And so we're going to talk about TTNP. I want to look at the chart. We've been called this thing out when it was real low down here, around 24 cents. And we took the run and we ran it all the way up to resistance here at 60. Well, it started to consolidate yesterday, kind of moving up and down and showing a little volatility. It actually touched the 200 SMA. And I was telling myself, then it bounced back up and hit that resistance again at 54. Well, today was a down day. And when we had that big knife at 3 big red candles, and I'm going to go ahead and change the time frame on this as fast as I can, we had little bounces up on this thing. So I was playing this stock every time it dipped. My first entry was right around here, around 43 cents, and I ran it up for 2 cents and flipped it. So I waited, came back down, and hit this target right around 40 cents. So I got in at 40 cents, ran it up, flipped it. She came right back down, and I timed it again. I got in here, and I took it up for a little ways, but I didn't ride it all the way up to the top. I got out, and I flipped it again. So here I am again. We flipped it back, and it just up and down. It was just a wonderful call today. I was calling all the dips, all the little knives. Every time it had a little knife, that's when I got in it. And the room was seeing me do this live, and I flipped it 8 times today. Well, after hours, if I'd have noticed this, we got down here at 38 cents. So I probably would have bought some of it then too. But so that's the way that goes. And I'll catch this first thing in the morning. But this stock, I followed it all the way up, flipped it. And today I followed it all the way down and flipped it. And I was really impressed on... At the end, I kind of made a few mistakes and bought a little too many shares, and I was down about 140. But she bounced back up, and I was able to get out with a small profit. And then I just kind of said, well, I've had my fun with it. I usually just like to make 3 trades and call it quits. But today and yesterday, I just found the right channels and the right stocks, and I just flipped it until I said I had enough of it. So that's TTNP. Keep it on watch tomorrow. There might be some more downside on it. If it dips and I see another knife, I'll get back in it again and do the same thing I did today. And the next one we're going to talk about, Vegas, is MOSY.
Oh yeah, MOSY dozy. Well, that was not MOSY indeed. That was a really fun stock today. I love it because I love stocks. But this trade didn't actually touch it till it was around 30 cents and ran as high as 39. Now this chart, I'm going to let Jim talk about that in a second, but I do just want to briefly comment about the fact that, this company provides semiconductor solutions for data cloud networking and security test video systems, but they did hire 2 directors, and those 2 gentlemen come from the Silicon Valley sector. So I like that. So they're joining the company. The 2 gentlemen is Scott and Bob. They're independent members of the board, and they're going to, Scott's going to come in and his experiences in sales and marketing strategies at the global semiconductor company. And Bob is coming in from the financial side, working with small cap companies and growing them. So they're going to definitely blend these two individuals, and they're going to look at identifying also growth opportunities and increasing stockholder value. But that alone is not moving the chart. There's a lot of technicals here, and I'm going to let the artist do all that. Over to you, Jim.
All right. Today, Vegas called the breakout right around 28 cents to 30. And she noticed the volume. And I'm going to type this in real fast. And we were down here, and we seen yesterday it was starting to pull a little mustard up. And run up to 26, 27 cents, and then pulled on back after hours. And then she noticed right out of the gate this morning that it was starting to pick up the tape. And the level 2 was showing her that there's some buys coming in on this, and then we ran it all the way up, and we were talking to each other back and forth around 32 cents was going to be a nice little kind of a pivot point if it was going to break out. Now I'm going to pull up a 20-day chart on this just to show you what I'm talking about. The 20-day chart, you had this big old gap down from this thing. I mean, all the way from up here around 85 cents all the way down to an oversold area right around 24. So it consolidated for almost 3 weeks. And it had a little bitty breakout, but it just didn't want to break that 30. So yesterday, and I'm going to pull this chart up into back to the 1 minute. So yesterday we started noticing that it did bounce up again, and it kind of caught our attention. So when we come in this morning, we noticed it hit the scanners. And this has been popping up on the scanners for us here a little bit. And so today we got it. We ran it up to 32. Vegas was patient, said just relax. It pulled back to around 28 cents for anybody to get back in the trade. And we hit back resistance again at 32. And then it pulled back and hit the moving averages, and see how tight the bands are here on the moving average. That was telling me that we're going to have a little breakout right here. That's the 50, the 100, and the 200 SMA. Well, it happened. Once that band 50 started breaking out, that 50-day moving average at SMA, it bounced up and hit 34 cents. Pulled back to that 32 again, which was a solid support, as you see, which was the old resistance. And then she just went ahead and followed that 200 all the way up and ran up to 40 cents there at the end of the day. We're bullish on this stock. We think it's going to fill the gap. We called this breakout. It probably wouldn't hurt for it to consolidate at morning, but we're going to see. I bet you it just starts going up again, and we're going to try to hit our target. And our target will be, let me change this time frame a little bit here to a 5-day or to a 20, back to the 20. We hit the first, we got this gap we got to fill up here. So this 39, this 40 cents was a real hard resistance. And when I mean hard, I mean because you got a big gap to fill. And that gap goes up to 55 cents. So I can't tell you where it's going to go in between this gap, but we've seen this trade before, not on this stock, but others. And we think it's going to go ahead and break out once it consolidates at this 40-cent area. And this is MOSY, and keep it on watch. And let's see what happens tomorrow with this baby. It is Friday. We could probably just consolidate, and then we'll come back in Monday and play a big bounce on it.
Okay, so next one I want to talk about is ears. You guys know that we did a commentary on this one a couple weeks ago. And the reason I'm watching it again, I actually took a starter on it today, really more from a bounce play perspective, not really looking for this to really run huge. But in at around 68.93, so you might as well call it 69. And looking for this to eventually continue, maybe to 80. And then it'll be reassessed at that point. This could also pull back, but this is what's intrigued me on the stock. Not only the fact that it's obviously half price from where it was not too long ago, but I also like the fact that the volume surged today. And also, I did also like the ADX, which is the average directional index. And that actually measures the trend strength without regard to the trend direction. And that to me looked pretty strong. So I liked it based on those two factors. So we'll see. I mean, I will keep a stop loss on this, just so you know, at 64 cents and even maybe 63 at the most. If it drops below 63, then I will exit the trade. I'll be out for a loss. But I am looking for this to reverse. And so just keep it on watch because the volume is interesting to me too. So add that on your watch list, and then Jim can talk briefly about that chart.
Yeah, we called this thing out when it was at 29 cents. We started noticing that it's starting to break out, and then there we went. We popped up to 78, and we ran this all the way up to $2. Vegas was just off about, I think, just a penny on this thing, 3 cents. She called $2, and we went to 197. So ever since then, we've had a hard sell-off. It bounces back up, it sells off, it bounces up, it sells off. Then we've had this sell-off go on for 2 weeks now. So I'm thinking we're nearing the bottom. We're not there yet, but I'm looking at maybe around 57 if I want to try to get in this stock. But Vegas is in it. She's got her first position, and we're going to see how we play this stock. This is ears. Keep it on watch. I'm like the tape today. It did kind of pull back a little bit after hours, right to support at 68 cents. And we got a double bottom. Let's see what happens tomorrow when we come in the morning. And that is
Okay.
ears.
Ears, and hope you guys are all ears. Talk briefly also about PURA. Now, for those of you that are OTC traders, you would know today you had a great volume surge. I mean, 30.97 million shares traded. Yesterday, the average volume was like 13.82. So, you know, PURA's had some action. Now, they did have news after hours, and the news on PURA, let me just grab it again because Jim's got it there, right?
Yep.
Is that they're going to, you know, release their dividends, and they target November 15th to declare a 1-to-5 cannabis cultivation stock dividend. So that's interesting. They're going to do a 1-for-5 stock dividend. So I don't even like, that's an interesting way to word things. They plan to release their third quarter earnings on or before November the 12th. So I'll keep an eye on that because I want to know if it's going to be pre-market or after hours. And then promptly after that, they will announce a formal 1-for-5 stock dividend declaration. So that's going to be interesting to watch. So I kind of still really like this company because I think this has potential for additional growth, especially in the medical cannabis sector. So depends how you play it and you know what your strategy is. So Jim can talk about what he sees maybe forthcoming on the way the chart's looking at the moment.
Well, this was another easy play. It was an easy call. We called it at 5.5 cents before the breakout, and I alerted it to Vegas. She jumped right in it. She got her good position. She made some. We ran it up. It hit a little resistance right here around 8 cents. Pulled back a little bit, so you had a second chance to get in the stock again. And then, right before the legalization of marijuana in Canada, that's where we had all of our pot stocks, and that's when they all ran. Then on that day, they pulled back. But analysts had a price target on this thing for 25 cents back here when I alerted it back here when it was at 5. And look, that sucker hit 25 cents exactly. Now I got out of this at 15, and then I flipped it on the way up. And without holding the core position, I just started flipping it. We had that first dip when it hit 15. I called that dip. I said, I'm getting out of here at 15 cents. And it pulled back. And that was before it even got up there. And then it pulled back to around 12, and it ran all the way up to hit that 25, and it's kind of pulled back and consolidated ever since after the legalization, selling the news, buy on rumor. So we've pulled back. We've had a couple opportunities to make some money on it, and I like the idea of the dividend coming out. That sounds very interesting. I'm bullish on this stock. I'm not in it right now, but I will be, and that is PURA. And you see all these yellow lines, I mean, that means I played the heck out of this stock. These are supports and resistances that I use, and I'll keep using them. They're called my extended trend lines. And I'm going to just pull up a daily chart just to get it out of the way real fast. See how they kind of clear up there a little bit? Yeah. So let's keep PURA on watch. I think we're going to get a little rebound on this. I think the pot stocks are starting to warm up again. And that's it. That's PURA.
Okay. And one more OTC, because I will say a lot of people like OTC stocks. So I try to find one or two when they present an opportunity. So one other OTC stock is MRIC. So that's for MRI interventions. Love this company. Started in this one about a year ago in the 170s, meaning $1.70 zone. Hasn't really done much, but let me tell you something about this company. This company had news tonight, and Jim's got the news there. But before I get into the news details of this company, this company works with, MRI interventions, and they've actually invested like $90 million into, advancing what they have. And they also are a competitor of another ticker called MDT, Medtronics. And if you guys look at the Medtronic stock, okay, that is a $92 stock. Okay, so this company is the competitor. And if this company, MRIC, invested 90 million in themselves to develop this technology, wouldn't it make sense that a company like MDT potentially could maybe consider down the road to buy this company out? Keep that in your head. As a, this is how my brain works. No pun intended, right? Because they're into MRI. But they had very good news, great website. And Jim's got the news there, right, Jim?
Yep.
Okay, the news is showcased there. So have a look at the news, but the news was interesting that they did congratulate that they did have some good success with the with some Alzheimer's treatment. So that's actually groundbreaking news, and so we might see some movement on this stock tomorrow, only because you guys know OTC only trades 9:30 until 4 o'clock. So obviously nobody in the market could have bought more shares of the stock after hours because they don't have after hours in OTC. So we might see some little action. And I did see some huge volume, one huge volume spike just before the news got released a couple hours before. So we'll see tomorrow what the market thinks about this news. But keep it on watch because it could maybe move.
MRIC. I'm looking at the chart here.
All right.
It's kind of, I don't see much volume on it. There we go. Let's look at the year here. This makes a little bit more sense. So MRIC, we're going to keep this thing on watch. It's broke up. It bounced off 139 and we come up here to 220. We've pulled back down to this 100 SMA. We've got the 50 right here for a low support right around 174. And we got a resistance at 242. So we're sitting right here at maybe at a pivot point right now between the support level and the resistance level. Now this had a high of 365 and pulled back to 139. It's bounced up in the past month and few days. So let's keep this on very close watch tomorrow. I'm going to be watching the tape. I'm going to be watching for the level 2. And I'm just going to see how it's going to move, which is new to me, this stock.
Yeah.
So I always like to wait a day or two before I jump into something. And
I just want to comment too on this stock.
Yeah.
Is that 5 years ago? If you look at the 5-year chart, I think
Yeah.
you'll be really surprised what you see. What price was it at back then, 5 years ago?
No, 3 years ago. 3 years ago it was up at $8.
And if you go back to 5 years, look where it was. I see a high of $70.
Maybe it has to do with splits or something, or just a
So,
sell-off.
I'd have to research. I think they did a split ratio, just so you know, back in July.
I'm just seeing $8. I don't see.
They did a split in July 2016.
Yeah.
They did a 1 for 40. So when they did that, the stock went down to 1 for 40. So that was back in July. So the price of the stock back then was around 708.
Yeah.
So that brought the stock down.
Yeah, I'm
So
seeing eight
anyways,
bucks. Okay.
keep this back on watch. This used to be a $70 stock at one time before the 1 for 40 split back in 2016. So, looks like something's happening here at this company. So just keep an eye on it. And I'll keep watching and tracking what's going on. But, because it has news, so for those OTC traders, might interest them. Maybe tomorrow. Don't know. May not do anything. So just keep a watch. That's all.
Okay.
And last but not least, Amazon. Lots of drama tonight after hours. I'll let Jim talk about the drama and then we'll wrap up this video.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to pull up a 1-year chart on this thing. And I've played this. I haven't played it, but I've charted it up for people. And today we pulled back, or here in the last couple of days, yesterday when we had the red day, we pulled back to the 200 SMA, which is at 1662. Then we bounced up, and today after hours, I'm going to pull up the daily 1 minute. And we had a big sell-off on it. It was up there at 1794 and pulled back all the way to 1615, and it's bounced up ever since. Now this is oversold, big time, but we've had a heck of a run on it too. I mean, from within a year, we've ran up from $1,000 all the way to $2,000, so it's 100% gain. So we're going to let this settle down. We're about the pivot point between that 900 or that $1,000 and that $2,000 ticket. And watch this tomorrow. I think you can get in it and still make money on this baby. And this is Amazon, and I do love the chart. I love the overselling that they done on this thing. You see what happened here when we hit 1664 yesterday on a day when the market was red 600 points. Well, we broke out from that 1600 and ran all the way up to we could have made $130 on that trade, just on that one sell-off. So now we're down here at 615, and there's another opportunity. You could have made 40 on it, a share. I think it's going to bounce on up, probably settle around here around 1720. And this is Amazon, AMZN, on an oversold reaction.
All right. Well, you know what, guys? This is a wrap. We don't want to go on and on and on because we could, but you guys would be like bored. So we hope that you enjoyed the videos. Please like, please follow, please comment. We appreciate everyone for your support and for all the new followers. Thank you so much. We really, really, really value everybody that does comment and follow us. So on that note, tomorrow's Friday. We hope the markets, they are unpredictable. So we will see what they will show us. Again, we just trade solid setups and try to find things that are going to help make us all money. So don't just trade just to trade. If you got to sit on your hands, then that's what you do. All right. So that's all for now. And I totally love stocks. And Jim, any last words from you?
No, I just want to say thank you. If you want to follow me, come to our room. You can watch me do my challenge count. I'm doing it live in front of everybody. I started with 1,000. Today I hit 3,000. I'm excited about that. I got a 1-year goal to run it up to 100 grand. And that's my U-Stock challenge.
That is great work, and congratulations. And it's not we'll talk about that another night. About a challenge account and how it's actually not that easy to do. Whether whatever you hear out there, it's not that easy. It takes a lot of work. So have a great night, everyone. See you all tomorrow. I love stocks. I love all the followers, and thank you again, and see you tomorrow.
This is the aftermarket report with Jim in Vegas on October the 25th, 2018, and we love stocks.